Hey guys, welcome to Real Crusades History. We're doing another live stream today, continuing with our series highlighting different members of the team for Knights of the Cross. So, Knights of the Cross being our upcoming TV show we're doing for Christian Channel. So, yeah, I'm really happy to be here today with two very special guests. These are two guys who I got to work with quite a bit a few weeks ago in California when we were shooting our trailer for Knights of the Cross, Spencer and Kyle. So Spencer and Kyle are here today to just talk about the project, talk about their particular area, which is they are members of the stunt team, military reenactment, the combat element of the show, also doing acting, and developing props. So a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, we were kind of all over the place. We were trying to do everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So I'm really glad to have you guys here. So one thing that's cool too that you guys have going on is you work together on something called the Wandering Sword Project, which that is what you guys do. It's kind of your. Why don't you guys tell me a little bit about that? Whoever wants to.
Sure. Go for it, Kyle.
Yeah.
All right. So Spencer and I were like, let's do this. We've always loved swords. We've known each other for a long time. And we're like, let's go and have a travel channel where we'll go out, we'll meet different martial artists and study swords and kind of learn all these different elements. And then COVID happened. So we've not been able to do the travel element as much as we want, but we still we're learning how to make a channel, sword fighting, doing sword videos, and just kind of having fun with it. And that's it, in a nutshell. Our grand scheme is to eventually start making episodes where we go to Japan or we go to Spain and go to these different locations and just train and learn with people.
Yeah, pretty much any martial art with swords or without swords, just all throughout history, as you can see things in the background. I mean, I just love everything about history and weapons. So, yeah, COVID kind of kiboshed that a little bit, but here we are now working with Knights of the Cross as well. Some of our backgrounds, I've done martial arts most of my life. Ever since I was 8, did Aikido, then I did some Shonin-ryu and other karate basic stuff at the beginning. And then I started fighting historical European martial arts around when I was 16. And I was like, I'm hooked. Just name it, everything I'm hooked on. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's how me and Spencer met, actually, is Armored Combat. And we were like, oh, I like swords. It was kind of like, that movie Step Brothers. Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Pretty much. And then
like swords too.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in, Joe.
I was Joe.
That's the base requirement.
I was like, Joe likes swords. You can be friends too. I like it.
Yeah, definitely. When we had the filming for the trailer, it was just a lot of kind of geeking out. I guess we were all just having fun with historical martial arts stuff. You guys kind of really just blew me away with your expertise, your knowledge of this stuff, and the props and the costumes that you guys brought. And that's something I definitely want to get into today and talk about more. Is just the incredible stuff you guys brought to the whole thing and the preparations, which were so cool. So yeah, we're really glad to have Kyle and Spencer here with us. If you guys in the chat have questions, we're definitely going to be taking questions. Anything about what they do with historical martial arts plus the TV show. And I actually found a picture of you two together. Weirdly enough, there weren't a ton of photos of the two of you from the shoot. But this is one. Let's see here. Let me see if I can do this right. Okay, here we go. So this is you guys on set when we were doing the filming.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, I think, this particular scene was the. I'm not going to give away too much info about the plot because we want to keep that a surprise for when the trailer comes out. But there's a battle between Richard and his guys versus some Saracens, and in that particular fight, Kyle was playing Baldwin, the Knight Baldwin, and you, Spencer, were playing Saracen number 1.
Yeah.
You guys just did some really cool stuff with that. I I actually wish I'd taken more footage of it on my camera.
We were so busy. It was such a busy day. It was like, we got to get the shots and do everything.
Exactly. When we were going into it, we're like, all right, guys, we'll get these photos together. Like, we'll get behind the scenes so we can show everyone this cool, like, the work that goes into it. And then when we were there, I was like, I just forgot all of it. I'm like, as long as we make it work on camera, that's all I can think about. And I just forgot everything else, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces, right? So that's sometimes we didn't have a lot of pictures together because we kind of divide and conquer. He would be doing another Templar scene, and I'd be getting something set up for the Saracens or wherever. So all those roles you talked about, it would be like Spencer the actor, we'd need him here, but then I'd be like, well, I need Spencer the props guy to make the tent look good, or to set up the tent, or to like go to the B site and get this stuff ready. And so it was like all over the place. And then I'm running with Angelo, the director, and I'm like, okay, he wants us to do this. Okay, let me think about how we can get that to happen. And then I'd coordinate that. And then, you know, we're like, did we film? Did we get any pics of us? We're friends still, right? Did we do this together? And this one was fun too, because it was after, like I said, not giving away too much of the story, but after the struggle between Richard's main force and Kyle's having to lay there, and they're like, all right, we're getting a good view, and we're just standing around waiting, and Kyle's just like, does this look good? And I'm like, I'm gonna take a picture. I'm just gonna be here and be a goon and just stand above him and smile.
Yeah, we went all out with the armor. It's real chainmail, like flattened, not welded, it's riveted chainmail. You know, it's heavy, and I'm wearing it all day. And when they were like, all right, well, you're dead now, or you're beat up, you have to lay there for a while. And I was like, I can do that. I can lay here for as long as you need.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was grueling. I mean, the 4 days were really intense and grueling, but it was a lot of fun. And I mean, I pretty much since then I've just been like, I can't wait to do it again. And we actually can. Serious.
Same. It was so rewarding because we'd get up at 4 a.m. California time, and we would work until 10 p.m. We're still like, we'd have our production meetings at the end, Joe, and we'd still be planning and be like, okay, I guess time to go to bed and do this all again tomorrow. And I was happy about it. I was never like, oh, this is hard work. It was hard work that was rewarding and fun. I couldn't think of anything that would be more enjoyable than, seeing our friend Fox get kicked down the hill, or Mike get shot with the bow or anything,
Yeah, I just have to say, I mean, a huge congratulations to you guys on the execution of the battle scenes. I mean, I was blown away. I didn't really know what to expect because I've never been involved in this kind of thing, but I knew I saw what we were planning out ahead of time. But then when I was actually there and I was watching you guys do this in action, I was just like, this looks amazing. This is so cool. So, and
it was, thank you for giving us the chance of doing it. I just remember it just felt like a dream.
Oh, man. Well, the thing about this whole project is it's really just like a group of people who are, committed and excited, coming together and trying to bring it, to life. And I think I'm just amazed what we achieved with, this. We had limited resources to do this thing for the trailer alone, and I really feel like we just pulled off some awesome stuff. And a huge chunk of that is because of what you guys brought and the fire and the passion that you guys brought. It was just amazing. So
thank you. Yeah, it was cool. One of the things that got us early on that made us super pot committed is one of the discussions me and you had, Joe, where I was like, okay, we're talking about the costumes and what they're going to wear. How realistic do you want it to be? Is this just going to be like any other Hollywood production where, it just whatever looks cool is what they're going to wear? Or do you want them to really look like their historical counterparts? And you were like, I'm real Crusades history, man. They've got to look as close as we can get them. Put them in the real gear. And I was like, yes, we're sold. And even our fight choreography, we wanted to reflect that. Like it's on camera, it has to convey the story and, be like slowed down in some ways or quote unquote fake. But really, we implemented historical moves. We made the moves make logical sense in how we would do that with our, 15 plus years of fighting experience. We wanted it to be as real as we could possibly get it on camera, especially and I don't want to ruin the ending, but anyone that studied historical manuals is going to be like, that is an exact manual move, taken exactly from the Middle Ages. And that's what we used on camera. We wanted to do that wherever we could.
And every little bit we wanted to be like the authenticity, and like on the sleeve, you can see there, the writing, it says like to Sultan Saladin, the best sultan. We actually did research to like, you could put little scribbles on there, but let's actually research what they would have possibly had or something that worked, or the chain pieces, or in Kyle's hand, you see like an Oakenshot style. Was that like a 3? I can't remember exactly.
No, it'd be a 12.
That's the 12 one.
Yeah.
So that we tried to get everything as close as we could. We could have just stuck a sword in his hand, but it's like, let's try to do something close. Or in mine, you see mine is more of a ball mace. We were trying to make more of a Turkish mace, but it looked well on camera. It's just trying to make that extra effort and actually look the part. And I hope we did good. We'll see. The people will see.
It's fun to do it for historical things, which is what we love. You know, we love history and all kinds of different parts. It's, you know that's your whole channel devoted to that.
Yeah, you guys did a great job. And yeah, talking about the Saracen costumes, because that was one of the things I was more concerned about, obviously, because I thought, okay, well, you know, I can see us getting the chainmail and the surcoats and stuff, but are we going to be able to pull off realistic Saracens? And, you know, I was so happy with what you guys did. I mean, it just looked great. It looked good for the period. And like, you know, the helmet with the turban wrapped on it. I mean, that's so cool. And I love I also love the Arabic script and just really beautiful stuff. The thing I'm really looking forward to doing, I've told you guys, is making some really cool Saracen shields for the actual show.
Yes, we were trying to get some, but it was really hard to find the exact ones that we wanted on the budget to find it right at this time, which, you know, we get more of a budget, we can get that type of cool thing. But Laura Cunningham, Fox's wife, actually did all this, and she did all in her basement. She's a great seamstress. She did all the research herself. I said, like, we want text from here. I showed that part. She's like, I'll find that, or if not, I'll ask any other questions. She did a great job.
She did. Yeah, we had a couple of seamstresses working behind the scenes who did amazing work. Fox's wife, and then also, of course, Ashley.
Yep.
And then my wife's friend Rosa, who made the.
I thought you had like a relative involved that did that, right?
Yeah, the horse comparison that we used for Countess. So we had
those are great.
Yeah, the horses looked really good. Okay, so real quick here, let's. You brought up funding, Spencer, and I'm going to share this. Let's move to our next screen share here.
Sure.
So yeah, we do need help from you guys to make this show happen. And what I'm going to ask everybody to do is check out our crowdfunding page for Knights of the Cross, christianchannel.com/Knights of the Cross. This is where we are right now with our funds. You guys have been doing awesome for us already. In fact, it seems like just a few days ago I looked, it was 200 people supporting. Now it's up to 211.
Yay.
So yeah, guys, jump over here. Check out what we're doing. This tells everything about the project, everything in terms of, information about some of the people behind the project, different levels that you can contribute at, and the rewards that come with that, which those go all the way up to being a part of the show yourself. So there's the possibility of doing that as well. So yeah, christianchannel.com/Knights of the Cross. The link for that is also down below in the description below this stream. So yeah, guys, check that out. And we will jump away from that now.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting because we've got the fundraising system set up, but we don't have our trailers yet. We're just getting started on that. So it's like we see it and we're like, cool, it's all ready for us. And we don't even have our own material up yet. Like once we have our own material, people will really see, what they're investing in, what they can be a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are kind of in an interesting phase right now. We're waiting on the editing of this trailer that we filmed a few weeks ago. This is where, this footage and stuff you guys are seeing comes from. That's coming out in May. So that's going to be awesome when that comes out. That's going to be more stuff for us to share. May 1st is the date of the trailer. William Rain just asked that. So I'm going to let everybody know that. So let's, I'm going to jump over now to a little behind the scenes preview of the trailer, so you guys can kind of see some clips of stuff we worked on.
Now, should we comment, Joe? Do you want us to comment on this?
Yes. Yeah. This is already up on the YouTube channel, so this is going to be like a special edition, Mystery Science Theater style. Everybody can, you two guys can add your comments on the experience of being there and what it was like. So very cool. This is our behind the scenes. Let's get in there. Make sure.
Excellent.
Okay. There we go. Turn it down a little bit.
Oh, I love the desert. That's so good.
Yep.
There's Bug and Brother Didicus.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Countess with her.
Yeah.
Eric Monster.
Yeah.
It's so cool seeing all the guys we worked with that did so much stuff.
Yeah, William Rain there too.
That was
Sam?
the back of my head. I'm doing AV work in full armor and helmets. Desert. So fun fact, we carried bags of sand into the desert. First people ever to do that, to my knowledge. Sandbags in the desert.
Oh, there I was throwing down the Countess. There's Doug, Bug doing some cool stuff. There's William Rain too.
All right. Awesome.
So cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And let me jump over. We've got a couple super chats here. Oops. Did I? Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay. So a couple of super chats that have come in. And just so you guys know, all super chats, of course, are going to go to our budget. So feel free to donate that way. Although I will say this, YouTube does take 30% of that. So, you know, it might be better to just go to christianchannel.com/Knights of the Cross. But this is from Sam, fellow reenactor. He's probably going to help us with the actual project once we get going. So
awesome.
Sam says, no questions yet, just saying that I love this. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that, buddy.
Thanks, Sam.
And then we got Serbian Knot, $4.99. Looks like just a donation, no comment. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yep, thanks so much.
Sebastian says, where was it filmed? We filmed our trailer in California. What was the town again, guys?
Temecula.
Right, yeah, Temecula. Yeah, it was awesome. We had like this horse ranch where we filmed, and then we went to the Imperial Dunes and filmed part of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. We dressed up like stormtroopers. We combed the sands. No,
couldn't find anything.
None of that happened.
That's in the sequel, right?
But the dunes were really like 30 feet tall. Like, it sounds like an exaggeration when you're like, they were 30 feet tall. But really, they were on some of the parts we were going up and down.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Joe, can you bring up the trailer and we can look at like some of the shots of that?
Yeah. Let me jump back over to that. Sure. You guys just entertain everybody while I'm doing that.
Can do. Easy.
We did, 2 locations. There was the kind of the mountains and the valleys near Temecula, which is, it looked a lot like Jerusalem. It had like the bushes, the sand, the rock. It was a really beautiful location and up in the mountains. And then the sand dunes themselves, which were, gosh, did we drive, 3 hours to get there? 4 hours?
It was 3 hours from where we're going to site. Yeah.
And so we drove 3 hours to get there, including our van full of 10, 15 sets of armor or whatever we had, and helmets and the medieval tents. And we set it all up. We had to carry the gear out into the desert. And that, if we can get a shot of the tent, we had to,
Which
go
is
ahead.
So cool. And I think obviously we were strapped for time and everything wise, but it's little improvements in the future. Someone's like, oh, I wish that looked like a period box that you're carrying. I'm like, plan on making that happen out of non-destructible material one of these days. Because some of the pictures when we're carrying stuff down, and it just looks so cool. And you can imagine a real army mobilizing, or Richard's army be like, the logistics to this are interesting. Yeah.
So that's the shot of what you guys are talking about out in the Imperial Dunes.
Yeah.
This was the scene for Richard's encampment. Basically, the tent I think mainly showed up in the background. Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
It was big.
Yep. Yeah, some of the shots were taken from right where this camera is, maybe 5-10 feet. This direction is where we actually filmed a lot from the top of their ridge. like some of the dialogue with Bug Hall, like the close-ups of the sword and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had to start at the bottom there next to those flags. And I had a dialogue scene that started where I'm walking up the whole edge, which I was like, that shouldn't be too hard. What's 30 feet in sand?
Wow. Yeah.
But I'm in like the full armor, full helmet, and I have like period medieval shoes on that are sewn into the chainmail. So it's kind of like wearing, chainmail flip-flops is what it felt like. And I'm like struggling up the sand, and they were like, Angela's like, it was good. Okay, film again, another shot. And I'm like, I have to walk all the way back down.
And I
just do this over and over.
And I love Angelo to death. And at one part, he's like, all right, I need someone to go and take the scabbard right up to Richard. And he's like, there's this, like, basically flat, 15 degree, 45 degree, and then straight up. And he's like, I need you to go up that hill.
Yeah. Like, just walk up this way. It'll be fine. And we're like, maybe. And Spencer starts to walk. We're like, no, there's no way.
Go the other way. But it was really cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Like, you look at the back in the dunes on the far right, that looks something like could be like CGI'd, right? That's all real, all practical effects.
Every direction, as far as you could see, it was so much fun. That was such a cool location. I was really lucky that I got to see all of that stuff.
And one thing we should point out too, this shot here, this is when we were setting up. The actual filming was at sunset.
Mm-hmm.
So it just looked so cool. I mean, you guys, in fact, maybe I can find a picture later of the sunset, but it was just very haunting and very cool. So
it was beautiful.
A bunch of questions are coming in for you guys.
Go for it.
Here's one. I'm guessing Baldwin the Templar doesn't make it.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
I don't know.
We're not spoiling that one. You guys are not going to know. Okay.
I won't tell anyone. I'm gonna let the full short film trailer answer that for me.
Yeah, and then we had another good one here from Resident Carolean. Can we see horse archery here? Yeah, we did have horse archery for the shoot. A lot of fun. What are you guys' thoughts on that? That was a pretty interesting thing to set up and deal with.
It was definitely challenging. That was one that Spencer really took the lead on for, kind of figuring out how the props and how we were going to do it. What was your process, man?
So there's a lot of different manuscripts. So also what I do for fun, but also recreational, I'm a council member of Historical African Martial Arts Association. So it gives me a lot of different information on what kind of different books, different research from a lot of first-hand cases. So we were looking for horse bows that would fit towards the style what the Saracens would have had. Then we had to try to figure out which ones we wanted to find, the arrow tips, all these types of things, yet also be available to shoot and be safe, right? So we're trying to get
within budget.
Yes, and within budget.
Budget and safety.
Which, once again, with more budget, we can do things. No, sorry, I'm not trying to be a shameless plug. But it was really cool to look at these manuscripts. And actually, there's something called Osprey Books, which is another one. They have really good cases where they show you not just pictures, but also the documentation, where they've got them from, what museums, all these things. And it's kind of like reading Rainbow, where I say, don't take my word for it, and you go do your own research, which I love going to the Chicago Institute. Sometimes if you're nice, you can actually ask the people that set up the exhibits, and I've been able to handle some of these things or look at. So even though they're like, shh, don't tell anybody, put these gloves on, and you get to actually look at stuff. So we tried to find as much accuracy as possible. And there's some pretty, I don't know, maybe there's some cool horse archery, maybe there's not. But no, there is.
Yeah, we wanted to have like a couple more scenes of horse archery, but there's definitely limitations when we have like the tight time frame of filming, and the horses are not they're not actors. They're definitely like an obstacle. They do kind of what they want to do, and you have to work with the horses. You don't get to direct them as much. But we have a couple of I think my favorite shot, maybe in the entire thing, at least looking at the rough footage, was the shot of our stuntman Aiden getting shot by Doug in the back with the arrows. Man, when that happened, I was like, that's cool. Like, this is one of the coolest stunts I've ever seen, and I'm so excited that like we pulled it off. And yeah, it's a horse archery scene, so a little bit of that. Yeah,
he made it look real. I remember when we were watching it be filmed, I was like, yeah, that looks really great. And then the thing that was so cool about being there was watching it be filmed and then looking in the playback on the cinematographer's cameras, and it was like, okay, wow, now I can see, like, I mean, it's a huge difference. I mean, it's like, this looks like we're kind of out here just filming something, and you look at it on the cinematographer's feed, and it's very real looking. So
yeah.
Which actually, I have a question for you, Joe. Is it cool to see your vision come to life, especially in this aspect? Like, what do you think?
I mean, it was kind of crazy, like, watching everybody film this thing I'd been writing for months. Although I don't feel like it's just my work in terms of writing it. I really feel like it was such a collaborative effort. I mean, Kyle, you had input on it. Angelo did. Bug did. Bug was a huge element.
Oh, yeah. Bug really helped us with, tightening our script up and then making it come out more natural,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were several aha moments that I feel like Bug really inspired when we were developing the script, especially like some of the relationships between the characters, which I don't want to go into that because I don't want to spoil too much. But it's a short project, but we were able to bring some relationship dynamics into it. So, and yeah, there's even a part where we came up with the lines like the night before. Thing, which was so cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat seeing that, because when it was the first thing that I ever saw was like your first version of the script, and I'm like, okay, like this is kind of the ballpark, and it's gone through so many mutations and input from all these different people, but it's still definitely your vision. And I really thought that was neat how it morphed to fit the camera from like the idea on paper. That was cool, Joe. I liked it.
It was really nice to see everyone put in so much work. Just like you said, it's not only your vision. Like our whole stunt team, everyone put in so much work. Everyone's spouses, letting everyone go, all these things. I mean, Kyle literally had a child, his first child born.
Yeah, I had to call in like the mom favor, like, Mom, I really want to go to California. Can you please help my wife with the baby for these 4 days? And thankfully, she said, yeah, of course.
So it was really a labor of love, but it was a happy labor of love. And Joe, you got a cameo in the thing too. Let's not forget that. Yeah. You're the Stan Lee of our show.
Yeah, I was. I came on as an extra. I was kind of backing you and Bug up in one of your scenes as one of the rank and file Crusaders. So I was excited to do that. That was the first time I'd ever put on that kind of gear.
Really?
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
It was fun to see your eyes light up, honestly, when we were Norman was doing all these things, and you're just like, in this helmet, you're just like, yeah, this is cool. It was really
it was amazing, and it was I know enough about the armor to know that it was authentic in terms of lacing everything up, and it was cool that all the pieces were authentic. The shoes, I mean, you guys, that's one thing too. We had shoes that were period. So
yeah. You'll see a lot of Hollywood that time. They're like, they'll be close enough. No, we want the period thing.
Yep, we want it as real as we can get it. And safety and budget are the only things slowing that down. But
here's a good question. This is from resident Carolean. Again, kind of unsure if Turcoples were used on Richard's side. They definitely were. In fact, there's a really cool episode I hope we can have in the show where Richard did this night raid that was pretty much mostly executed by Turcoples, where the horse archery thing was, essential to that. So yeah, we had a Turcopole character in our trailer. Even that was kind of an idea of like, okay, we want to incorporate the Middle Eastern Christian element too. So
yeah, it wasn't just Templars. There's lots of people that were there, especially like the Countess's team, quote unquote team. You were like, let's make them Turcoples. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Like, not everyone has to be, a Knights Templar. Like, there's all kinds of people, and I thought that was a cool addition. And then we got to make extra costumes.
Exactly. Well, there's a lot of things. Not trying to spoil where hopefully things would go, but there's so many parts of history that intersected. We were talking about the Mamluks or something later. That there'd be really cool things that could happen. Really cool.
Yeah, one thing we've been talking about doing is developing some of the stuff that Ibn Shaddad talks about. That's one of Saladin's chroniclers in terms of Richard's relationship with some of Saladin's brother Al-Adil's top Mamluks, which he actually had friends among Al-Adil's Mamluks. So interesting dynamic there in the War Council tent that we'll probably explore when we're doing the show. So Sir Bran had a good comment here. Part of the Templar Order included Turcoples. That is very true. Yeah. So let's see what else here.
And if you have a chance, Joe, I know there's a lot of things going on your Facebook. I sent you 2 of the silver lining pictures when we were in the desert, as well as a picture of me and Kyle with a bug.
Okay. Yeah, let me go grab those. And if you guys want to entertain the audience while I'm doing that.
Sure thing.
Did you send those to me through message? Spencer?
Yes, through message.
Okay. Through Messenger on Facebook?
Correct.
Spencer, what was your favorite stunt?
Oh my goodness. I think, you see the tail end of what happens there. I'm laying down, but I'm just resting. So I don't know what's going on there. There's a really cool part where Baldwin does this awesome maneuver followed up by Richard. And I just loved how it came together. And not spoiling too much, but as we said,
if we go into that one at all, it's gonna
no. We just leave it there. Leave it vague and ambiguous.
Yeah,
but
I know that was a cool scene.
And I remember, I was doing a lot of research before where people were like, "Hey, these people better have HEMA training or HEMA training basic level." I'm like, "Oh yeah, we're there. I hope that you're happy with it."
We're gonna put as much as we can of that in there. And then,
exactly. And when we first started talking about this choreography, we're like, "Hey, we want it to be backed up in historical accuracy or things that could happen." And you and me, both doing live combat and non-stage choreographed fighting, there's some cool things. We're like, "No, this could happen. This has happened." Plus, it looks good. What's your favorite?
That's a hard one.
Hey,
I didn't come to you with an answer ready.
Wait, what did you say, Joe? I'm sorry.
Real quick, Spence. I think. Are you sure you sent those to me on Facebook? Maybe you sent them to me on Instagram.
Let me see.
Seeing them in Facebook.
It should be under Seto if you see that one.
Seto in Messenger.
Yeah, J. Stephen Roberts. If not, I could put them in.
Yeah, maybe send them to me one more time because I'm not
sure thing
in here.
No problemo.
Okay. All right, so let's see what other. I saw a couple more comments in here. This is from Champagne Froggy. Love your work, guys. Keep spreading the real history. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that.
Yep.
Here's a good question from Al He. Will the cities have a prop set or will they be on CGI? That's an interesting question we're still kind of dealing with. And there's kind of a couple different options we have in front of us. One of our options is going to a location in Europe and using some historical sites, which we've already been talking to some historical government representatives who have helped us out with that. So that would definitely be a possibility, and that would most likely be well within our budget. The other option is to build our own sets or use some sets that are available here in the States. So yeah, the truth is we're kind of still thinking about that. It may end up being a combination of those.
There's some parts, I think combination is probably the closest, because I know there's some parts we will need physical sets, especially as we talk about how we'd like the season to go and how we kind of want the climactic end battle to happen. It would definitely be nice to have some physical props for us to go. I can't say what's going to happen, what Joe has in mind, but for us to pull that off, yeah, we're going to have to, break some stuff.
Right, if not, I'm sending it to Kyle, and Kyle can send it to you Facebook wise. Because technology is weird sometimes.
Is it not letting you send the pictures to me, Spencer?
Yeah, or send them through. It says that you haven't seen it yet, but Kyle saw them, so maybe Kyle will listen.
Weird.
It's all right. Technology's odd.
I mean, I've got Messenger open here, and I'm just not seeing anything from. I'm sure. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. Dorothy's a good supporter of the channel. She says, please put that crest comb on Richard's helm, like on his seal.
That's definitely something we want to work on doing. For the medieval reenactment stuff that we did, when we had some other royalty, we put the whole, what was it? It was what was it? The Black Prince, when he had his lion, we worked on that kind of crest. And it's so much fun. So once again, depending on what we have to work with, love to make it happen.
Yeah, I think we can work on that, Dorothy. That seems like a cool thing to do. Dorothy's very particular about historical accuracy, and I certainly can respect that. I'm right there with you.
Me too.
It's all about the details. The details.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Okay, here's the sunset from the dunes that Kyle has sent me. Add that one in. Okay, so why don't you guys kind of entertain the crowd a little bit more, and I'm going to pull up these pictures for us to look at.
Sure. And I know one part William Rain said warriors respect warriors. We talked about the whole part how Saladin and Richard would actually have chess matches afterwards. It's really cool to see that their warrior spirit, even though they were in conflict over the Holy Land, they're still like, let's take time out to
real quick,
know my opponent.
Not Richard and Saladin. Richard and Saladin never actually met in person. Let's just
Which was a brother.
It's a common misconception because there was a ton of artwork. It was a popular art movement to have those guys play chess together in your art, but it never actually happened. And
that's what made the depiction. It's just so cool to see it. Like, could you really imagine that actually happening?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of interesting back and forth with Richard and Saladin's brother. I mean, they kind of became friends in a way. One interesting thing is there's an account from Ibn al-Athir of them talking about music, and Ibn al-Adil actually brought a Muslim female harpist to play some Muslim music for Richard, and Richard like sat there and he enjoyed it and he commented on it and how it was similarities and differences to European music. That's kind of fascinating to me. I mean, that's something I want to include in our show too, because I mean, that is like for one thing, it's very different than the usual image you think of with the Crusades, but also it really shows two men who are kind of like cultivated, educated men sort of sharing elements of their culture. So I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with like Richard's ties to Eleanor of Aquitaine, who was also famous for being a patron of the arts and music. So he would have definitely experienced that from the European perspective, and then to see this other one, that's neat.
And it's a nice comparison to see the world's similarities, differences, yet also appreciation. And
also, I can see that just being such a cool scene for the tension. It's like here we're discussing music, and there's kind of this bittersweet sort of air to it, because really what's brought us together is this conflict that we cannot really reconcile, and ultimately we have to fight each other to the end, but still, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
The drama is there, guys.
We know what you mean.
And it adds so much flavor. Like, you think about other giant movies, all these things where you have this kind of theme, not necessarily a theme song, but it gives this whole kind of air of what's going on, or, oh, we're in the Saracen camp, or, oh, we're in this part. There's a lot of cool things that can be done with music.
Yeah. And I like that it's not black and white. It's not like, these are the bad guys, these are the good guys, end of story. Like, that's kind of boring. Like, there's multiple elements and multiple levels of the conflicts. It just tells a far more interesting story that's going to be more fun to be a part of and to get beat up in based on the pictures of Baldwin so far.
Yeah. No, true.
Yeah. So right here we've got you guys with Bug. Why don't you guys tell me about this day? This was your training session with Bug, who played Richard the Lionheart, leading up to filming the trailer.
Yeah. So we wrote our fight scenes, and we're like, okay, now we've got a good concept. Me and Spencer did that together. And then we're like, okay, now let's get Bug over. Let's put him in the costume, make sure it all works, and then run him through some fight scenes and teach him some basic things. Because every person on the set has at least like 4 or 5 years of sword fighting experience in one art or another. With, I think Aiden was probably the least experienced, and he's like, done it his entire life. He's just, 18 or 19, so he just has less time. And so Bug, Bug was like, he was unfazed. We're like, all right, here's the move. And he's like, okay, let me practice that a couple times. And he's learned boxing for other roles, and he picked it up pretty quick. And yeah, we were like, there's a couple elements we've got to practice and get down. We practiced certain ways to move the sword so that when it's a stunt double, it can still be portrayed as that character. And then we taught him the move that will be used at the finale, where We'll see Bug's face. It's got to be Bug pulling it off. And, you know, it's, like I said before, a historical manuscript move. People will recognize it. And we just ran that with Bug a bunch of times until he started getting comfortable and started doing it right. And
it was really a testament to his dedication. There are some things he's like, I don't have this right now, but I'm going to get this down. We sent him home with a stick of rattan, which is basically like a bamboo, but it's a reedless. So it's a good training tool that we use through a lot of our martial arts. And I'm like, this is yours. You get to keep it. Take it home and practice. He's like, oh, yeah, I will. And for those of you I know that follow Joe's channel, if you haven't seen Bug's interview, where you get to really see more of Bug's determination, his character, it's really worth a look. But it really was awesome to meet here on this day in Michigan. And he's like, all right, what do we do? Let's put him in this armor. He's getting used to how it feels. It was really, really awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun too, because there was a couple of moves that we were like, we can choreograph it this way, and this is the most accurate way. If I was really fighting a person with a spear and I had a sword and a shield and I got close, this is the move I would do to win. Is that the most interesting on camera? And we're like, okay, maybe not. Maybe it might be a different thing. And so we kind of gave these up as like, okay, we'll choreograph it to this point, and then maybe give a couple options that Joe or Angelo or, you know, the team can pick out. Be like, I think this is the way to go, or this one looks better on camera. So that was fun too. We had a couple of those, like the spear fight, and in like the Baldwin, when Baldwin versus the Saracen leader and like the two groups start their fight together. We just had a couple of options. You know, we got to run them through here to make sure that they would all work, and, you know, it would just be what works, because you got to be flexible. That was a huge thing that I was learning, is like, okay, we have an idea of the fight, but how flexible can we make it, and what can we change if, you know, the situation changes?
Yeah, and so many plan B. See, there's lots of things that just come up, like the day of. Angelo or Joe would be like, I don't like that, and we're like, well, they could give you this, or Angelo would be like, what about this? I'm like, yeah, we can make this work. And it was really fun. Like you said, it's different when you're fighting an opponent. And we fought a lot of different matches. Both of us have done a little bit of Battle of the Nations. I don't know if you've ever seen some of that. It's like basically steel MMA, but you're punching, but you're also using all these things with sword and combat. And when you get into these fights, you want to be as precise as possible. You don't want to telegraph moves. You don't want to do these things. But when we're showing it on the film, we want to show a narrative of fight, but we want to make it look believable. And it was an interesting challenge that hopefully you guys think that we succeeded, or if not, we can always work on getting better. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to jump over back again to the page that shows everything about this for us. What we're talking about today, guys, is Knights of the Cross. This is our historical drama TV series about the Crusades that we are working on for the streaming service, ChristianChannel.com. So I'm going to ask everybody to head over to ChristianChannel.com/Knights of the Cross. It's linked in the description down below. We need you guys' help to make this show happen. So everything about the crowdfunding process is over there, the different levels of support, how you guys can help back the show. And already a lot of you have been hugely generous. We're so grateful to you. So yeah, everybody who wants to help out, jump over there. This is the place to do it. You can even be in the show. There's a tier for actually getting, I think that's it's the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre. You actually can make a cameo appearance. So very cool. Very cool stuff. So yeah, guys, we're talking to Kyle and Spencer, who are members of our stunt team for the Knights of the Cross trailer, and who are going to be on the show itself. So yeah, we're having a lot of fun talking about filming the trailer and everything we worked on a couple weeks ago. Huge props to you, Spencer, for laying out our Saracen tent. One of our interior shots was the Saracens' encampment. We actually had a scene inside one of the tents, and Spencer was the guy who kind of laid out that tent and gave it the atmosphere, different vessels and rugs and stuff. And it just looked really cool. Good job on that, Spence. I remember I came up, I'd been walking like back and forth, carrying stuff across miles of sand or whatever. And I go in, I'm like, wow, Spencer, this looks really I walked into a Saracen encampment here. So
thank you. No, we really wanted to give that air of like, actually, this is what happened, not just some things thrown together. And you guys had some awesome props, like with the Turkish coffee set, all these other things. And Angelo was really helping. He's like giving me these ideas, and he'd be like, no, try that over there. I'm like, well, what about here? And there's one point Kyle walked in. He's like wearing his director's assistant thing. He's like, guys, we got to, and he's looking at us work. He's like kind of tip-tack back. He's like, this is working out. I'll give him 5 more minutes. And I'm glad he did, because it looked, thank you for thinking it looks awesome. I hope everyone likes it.
Yeah. It looked very cool.
It was good. It was good. There's times where I'm like, guys, we've got to keep moving. We got to keep moving. We'll run out of daylight. And then other times I'm like, they are doing awesome work. I'm going to just shut up and watch them do it. And like, let them do their work, because it's going to be good. And there's that balance there that was kind of fun to play with.
And once again, it's the whole stunt team. Like we had all the people, like they were doing a lot of prop management, like we were making things, and Fox and everybody put up that tent, which is not an easy task. And it looked amazing, and it didn't fall down while we were inside it, which is important. And it was just a really big team effort.
I think the most difficult stunt for me was hilariously trying to open the tent door. I messed up on that so many times. I was so embarrassed. Like, I'm like red-faced. Like, how can I not open a door? What's wrong with me?
And I was there resting my eyes on the ground. I wanted to be like, Kyle, just take your time, make it as slow as you want. He's like, I'm doing it. Like, I mean, it's
the
difficult.
fight scenes, no problem. Like, running around in chainmail, no problem. Like, and I'm like, they're like, just open this door with your hand and tuck it in. And I'm like, okay, I can't do it.
You wanted to go fast. It was hard. And then eventually, after I could step up there, you started moving to the side, and I just held it off the camera. I know it's like a little behind the scenes here, behind the scenes.
They adjusted it so like Spencer could be next to the tent, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna hand it to Spencer.
Hey, martial arts are hard, man.
Okay, so something else you were wanting to share here, guys, is this picture of the sunset from the dune. From when we were actually filming our scenes at the Imperial Dunes in California. So let me jump over and pull that up so we can relive that moment. Let's see here.
And for the viewers, we'll put some more stuff later as we go. We're not trying to throw everything. We're trying to make it since we're trying to fundraise all the way till August 1st. There'll be some other cool things to come out. But
definitely,
this picture was just beautiful.
Yeah.
Talking about Angelo and how his work, which is another great thing, a little segue. If you didn't watch their interview, you should watch the Angelo one. He has multiple Oscars. He worked on The Lion King, and I see this part. I'm just like, where's Simba? Where's Mufasa? Like this is beautiful.
Yeah, that's one really cool thing about this project is we've got people who are really good at what they do on every avenue. I mean, we've got several veterans of the film industry. Obviously, Angelo has done a lot of amazing work already. Bug Hall, who played Richard and who's going to play Richard, he's got stuff under his belt too.
Very accomplished.
And then you guys with your abilities with the military reenactment stuff. I mean, just a lot of people who, and then on top of that, the camera people. I mean, the people who.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Oh yeah.
Stuff.
I don't know if you guys saw. There's a part where myself and Norman are holding up a camera above this area, and horses were riding right under it. Practical stunt. That was like a $200,000 camera, which I thought it was only $20,000, which was scary enough. And I'm glad I didn't know that at the time. But
yeah, that was.
My hands are shaking.
Oh
yeah, let's relive that. That was so cool. Like, so at one point we had this scene, guys, where we were doing this chase scene with the Saracens and some of the Crusaders, and we had horses running under this like setup we made. It was like a giant metal pole with two guys on two ladders, and we had the camera up there, and we had the horses running, to get this shot. And yeah, it was, I don't know, it was so inventive and then it looked so cool afterwards when we were looking at the feed.
Yeah, the footage of the guys like riding under, man, it was a cool shot.
If you guys Instagram at all, I think it's on the Christian channel's one. If not, it's on mine too. But it's amazing to just see how it worked practically and the trust and everybody. I'm looking at Danny, who was also amazing. And he's like, don't worry, you'll be fine. I'm more worried about you guys. And I'm like, I'm more worried about your camera. I'll be fine. I'll bounce. I'll roll. It'll be all right. But
Yeah, we had
I helped
some of the guys running. Oh, go ahead.
No, I helped hold the ladder at one point. I'm just gonna.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Go ahead,
yeah.
Sorry.
Some of the guys running under it are jousters professionally, so they do jousting shows and everything. And those guys, they're awesome at what they do. And we're like, we need you to look mean and swing this mace as if the opponent's like right there. And they're like, yeah, we can do that. They were just into it.
Yeah, Brian and Zach.
Brian and Zach,
yeah, they're amazing. And we had like the prop mace was just all the 6-flame mace that we had, which we used the prop one instead of this one because this was actually metal. But it was really, they're still going close, and everyone's like, at one point it came like you can see my mic, it went like right over it, and you could hear it go, whew, and they're like, huh.
That was very cool. Yeah,
it was amazing.
That was really cool to watch that in replay and hear the sound the mace made. That was kind of an added bonus, I think, that we got that whooshing.
Very much so. Very much.
There was, I think, one of the other cool stunts we did that really just like blew me away because to see it in person was the chase where we put the camera in the back, and I think it was Danny that we put in the back of a Jeep with the back was open and he has the camera and he's like seat belted in, and the horse is chasing, and the Jeep is driving, so you're getting the film of the horse running at, and just the way that the Jeep turns in and the horse cuts off, like it was just such a cool shot. And like the concept of it, I'm like, this is awesome. I can't wait to see this. And when I see the footage of it, I was blown away. All of it just was amazing to me.
It gets the chance too. It's like the viewer, it gets to a point of view where you guys are now like right there.
Yeah, those horses are thundering at you. These, big Arabian horses. I know those are smaller for horses, but they're not small when you're standing next to them, man. They're big.
Yeah. Yeah, they were gorgeous horses. I was blown away by the horses we had. So Sam here says again that, and thank you for the super chat, Sam. That camera comes in my house.
Yeah. No, hold it while the horses go underneath. No pressure, Spencer.
Oh man, I'm just glad I didn't know the price at that time. I mean, every day was arm day at that point. I'm just like, oh, keep it steady. I don't know the name of what it was, Resident Carolinian. I forget. I'll have to look. Danny Hidalgo's on Instagram too. Not trying to shameless plug or anything, but I'll poke him and be like, "Hey, what brand was that? But what does it make? What is all of it?"
Yeah,
it was actually one of the reasons when we were supposed to shoot earlier in the year was getting that particular camera. I remember our meetings for that, Joe. We were like, well, they were still using this camera here. It might be a little bit later before we get access to it, and that's part of why we filmed. Not in January as we initially talked about. However many months ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
That camera.
Yeah, the camera stuff, like that's definitely an area. It's beyond my expertise, but I definitely appreciated the work and the expertise these guys were putting into it. So very cool. Al, he said, and just before we end this, I just want to say, guys, I'm amazed we're actually coming to the end of the hour.
Wow, it's quick.
It goes so quick.
I know, it's been such a cool conversation, and we're going to be doing this again. We're going to do this regularly, and next time we do it, I want to have we can get more of the team on too. Any of you guys' team who wants to come on, I know StreamYard. We can actually probably. I'm not sure what the limit is on people, but we can have a lot of people on here. So,
all right, cool. Find out that limit. We'll fill it up. We'll get everyone in. There were so many more stunts we didn't even talk about. Like I'm ready to keep talking about like Fox going down the hill. The other time Fox went down the hill, how many times we had to kill Avery? Like we had so many fun stunts to learn and do. Yeah,
so,
and the whole team would be a fun conversation.
Yeah, and just kind of, whatever the limit is, just kind of rotate everybody in over time and kind of keep getting everybody in. But so Al, he says, will the plot start right at the beginning of the 13th Crusade? We'll start on Fourth's reign. I'm thinking it's going to be more like beginning of the Third Crusade. It may start kind of around the Battle of Arsuf. This is going to kind of depend on our budget a little bit, you guys. So just a reminder to everybody to help us make this show happen. And a lot of you guys have already helped a lot, and we really appreciate that. I'm going to here and just say I'm really blown away by the generosity and the confidence so many of you guys have in what we're doing already when we, really are just at the beginning of this thing. A lot of people have already helped. As you guys can see, we've already got 211 donors for the project. But yeah, go to christianchannel.com/Knights of the Cross. This is where you can help us fund this show. This goes toward our budget, toward making this thing happen. So yeah, I'm just going to point everybody over there. It's linked down below in the description below this stream. So if you guys would please check that out and help.
And every little bit helps. Every little bit helps.
Oh yeah, and we got a $35 tier, which that comes with you own season 1 digitally of Knights of the Cross. There's rewards with every single backing, all the way up to being in the show. So very cool.
And like Joe was saying before, if you guys can't donate, which is awesome, we're just glad that you're showing interest. Share it. Like, share it to a friend. Anybody that knows, like, they might find that interested, and then they share it. That's all that we can ask for, really.
Yeah. Like, you can share the project with your church, with whatever group, you're involved in. Yeah, there's, and we're very confident that we're going to, get to our budget and make this thing happen, especially once we have the trailer come out and we really start pushing this thing pretty hard over the summer. We're really in just the beginning phases of doing this. But one thing I will say is we are committed to, like, we have several plans. We've got a plan A, B, C. Like, one of our contingency plans is, okay, let's say we don't raise our full budget. Let's say we raise like a quarter of our budget or even less than that. We're going to do a single episode first, like a pilot episode, because right now our goal is about 6 episodes, but we would do a single, that'd be our pilot, make that, just as awesome as we can make it. And then we would move towards another fundraising project, looking for bigger donors, something like that. Some of the people in our group have some contacts and some ideas about that. So that's another possible plan. So just so you guys know, I mean, you're going to have something awesome regardless of whether we are able to make the full 6 episodes or whether we're going to make a single pilot. But I think we're going to make the full season. I am very confident about that, especially looking at the previous crowdfunding project Christian Channel did for their Eucharistic Miracles documentary, which that exceeded its budget quite a bit. So
I think once people get to see a little bit of what we could do and our taste, so like they get a taste of that, hopefully they'll like it and they'll want to. And already that 211 people, it's that trust that we see that and we're like, wow, like we don't want to betray that. I know when Kyle and I are working on anything, we're like, let's give them something that they'll love. Let's give them something that they're going to want more of. Yeah, we just appreciate the opportunity.
See the trailer, they will definitely be like, okay, wow, what you guys did with a pretty limited budget, good job. So yeah, that's our goal with the trailer. That's what we were working on last month.
Yeah.
We did this together.
It's going to be so much easier to talk to people about this once our trailer's out and we have more of the footage, because it's one thing for us to tell you, like, well, we looked at the raw footage and it was really cool. I promise you guys will see it for yourselves and just be like, I can't believe they did it for that budget, with those costumes, with those stunts, with this many horses. Like, honestly, it's unbelievable. you know?
And you can tell, Joe, by your audience already, and your community is great. They really care about it so much, and any kind of feedback. Like, I know I totally lurk in the shadows and I see what people say and I'm like, that's a good idea. Let's add that. We're really receptive to what people want. Like, especially like that crest. I mean, authenticity is important.
That would be a very cool thing to add. Like, now I'm going to look up pictures of that and be like, when would be a good time for him to wear this?
I mean, especially if we get funded, everyone, that's that last episode where Richard goes back and he just looks amazing dressed to the duds. So, getting all the way to episode 6, we would really dress him out in all his finery. But I don't know, whatever it may be.
Definitely. So we got a donation from Sir Brand, $25. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Sir Brand.
Thank you so much.
And Lawrence says, I've never donated on YouTube. When I start doing this project will be on my to-do list for donating. Well, FYI, Lawrence, you don't have to donate through YouTube. You can go to our website, christianchannel.com/Knights of the Cross. That's our crowdfunding page. That's where you can donate directly to the project. All of that goes to the project. So that would be my recommendation for helping us out, is going to our site and donating.
Instead of just 70%, and they get their 30%. We get the full 100.
Exactly. Yeah, we can get that to pay for building sets or going to historical sites in Europe or buying gear, et cetera, et cetera. So absolutely. So, guys, we're actually at the end of this stream.
We already reached it.
if you guys want to go on a little bit longer, we can. I'm gonna jump up through just a couple more questions, just
Sure.
Yeah, man, hit us with some questions.
Whatever you like.
In fact, yeah, this is a good opportunity for you guys. If you have any questions for these two members of our stunt team, Spencer and Kyle, these guys did some amazing work on historical reenactment for our trailer. Go ahead and get some questions going for us now. In fact, we got one from the big one. He says, how many historians do you guys have advising you? We have a lot of people advising on this. I actually do have a couple of professional historians, PhDs, who are helping me with the advising process. Two guys I really trust who have been on some of the shows, some streams in the past. But also we've got our reenactment team in terms of costumes, weapons. You guys have been huge elements right here.
Yeah, my bachelor's is in medieval history. So I'm finally getting to use it because obviously I didn't go into using that for my career, but I'm pretty excited to use it now.
And myself, I'm still finishing up. I'm a veteran, Air Force veteran, so I'm still working on some of my things. I've been trying to find my path through academia, what I want to do, and I'm actually doing historical studies in African studies across the board in anthropology. So we have some base level as well as other resources that we're really using to make sure we have everything.
Another thing is you could say, most of the stunt team, they're all medieval reenactors. So at least in this area, they're pretty knowledgeable. But we've also been really receptive to audience input. People are like, hey, maybe you could do this that's more historical. And I'll be like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's look at that. Can we do that? And as long as it's, like I keep saying this, as long as it's safe and within our budget, we would always want to go the more historical route.
Very much so. And there's so many resources. Like I work at the Chicago Swordplay Guild, or Fortes up in Chicago. And I teach some introductory Hammond classes, which we're going to start getting off the ground. COVID kind of shot that in the foot for a little while. But we have lots of people that actually publish and actually have accredited sources in historic manuals. So it's not just enthusiasts per se. It's actually, oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry. So there's a lot of different things where we actually work on giving you the resources as pure as possible.
Yeah, and thank you, Declan, for that comment. Declan's a really good friend of the channel. We appreciate you giving that shout out to Spencer.
Thank you, Declan.
And Sir Bran here says, do you look at the possibility of Richard only heralding 2 lions in the Levant? We would like to do that. One of the reasons we did not do that for the trailer shoot was just to keep our costs down, because we had to work with some heraldry we already had. Most stuff that's already available is the 3 lions. I think that's fine for the trailer, but yeah, once we're doing the actual show, we're going to want to try to do that. So yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like those great, you see a lot of great shows, not The Mandalorian, they did pretty well at the beginning, but there's some shows where the pilot, you have everything planned, you have all the things you want, and then you make more fine tunes when you're allowed to later. But that seems like a really cool idea.
All right, so let's grab a couple more questions here, and then we will jump out and let's see. Oh, here's a good question. This is from John Lawyer. How can we donate directly? I want every penny of my money to gift to you guys, not a penny anywhere else. Well, let me tell you about that, John. I've actually got it up right here on the screen. If you go, this is a good way to end too. If you go to christianchannel.com/Knights of the Cross, and that's linked below in the description below this stream right here. Click on that. That's how you guys can help us out. And yeah, you guys are the reason we're going to be able to do this. A lot of people have already helped out, and that's been huge. We appreciate that. But if you guys believe in this project, please consider helping us out with it, because we do need that every little piece. And somebody up here said, let me jump. This is another one from Caroline. I can't find it right now, but he basically said something like, you guys think you would maybe want to pursue like Hollywood level funding for this. That is something we've thought about. We have really thought about that. And that is kind of a plan B or C to possibly try to do it that way. We may pursue that route if need be. The reason we're trying to keep it with crowdfunding as a plan A is because we want to maintain our vision, which is historical accuracy. What we want to do is tell a story that's very faithful to the source material, which we've already kind of talked about that on some streams. The main sources for the Third Crusade, the Gesta Regis Ricardi, Ibn Shaddad, Ibn al-Athir, Ernol and his chronicle. This is kind of where we really want to, we want to let the sources really tell the story, and we want to do something that's really faithful to the history. It's possible that if we were pursuing big level funding, we wouldn't be able to keep that kind of control necessarily. So you guys can see kind of why we want to do this. And we feel like we can make the dollars stretch. And I'm convinced of that after the experience of doing the trailer with you guys. I mean, I was amazed at what we were able to achieve with, pretty limited resources. We were able to do something historically accurate and looked really great. And I was so pleased with that. So, yeah. In fact,
the team's excited. Like getting the team on board, how we are, and having Joe's vision of being super historically accurate. That lights a fire under all of us. We want to be in the show that's historically accurate, that has these cool stunts, and that's what we're going to do.
And no matter what, it's like we don't want to give up. If we meet a wall, we're like, all right, we'll get over it. When we first we were having trouble getting the van there, we call up a friend that we knew was reliable. Monster, can you do this? We had this happen. We do all these things. It's a team effort to give you guys the content that you want, that you're asking for, and make Joe's vision come true.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just so thrilled to be working with you guys. You guys were amazing out in California when we were doing this. I was kind of blown away when the giant van pulled up filled with medieval weapons and armor. And I was just like, wow, this is an armory. I mean, we had
for you, it's like surprising. For us, we're like, got all this gear and swords, and we're like, we've been waiting for this moment.
This is the dream we wanted before. Or my mom, or
all be like, all of our swords and armor.
Exactly. Or my mom and dad are like, why do you keep on doing this medieval stuff and studies? I know you want to get into academic pursuits now, but why do you have so much stuff? Now I can be like, this is why. So we can actually do things. So it's really cool.
Joe needed a van full of swords and armor. What are we going to do? Say no?
Yeah. Yeah. It was amazing. Yeah. And you guys have inspired me to want to have my own armor and stuff too. So that's in the future for me, I'm sure.
We know a guy. Make that happen.
We know many guys.
But thank you so much for the opportunity, and we really appreciate it. And look forward to working together in the future and really being successful. Because like you said, no matter what, we're going to do something. So yeah. Somewhere between 1 and 6 episodes, we're going to be doing that once we finish this first round of fundraising. If we hit our full budget it's 1.5 million, we're doing the 6 episodes. And I'm thinking what's going to happen is we'll be doing some of the filming in the States, some of it in Europe. That's what it's going to look like. And we're going to be drawing on reenactment communities on both sides of the pond. So yeah, I can't wait to meet other, like Sam. I know, I was reading some other things, seeing everybody else and their passions. Because as you can tell, it really comes out and everyone has a little bit of things to add. And it's not like, this is mine. This part, we're like, let's make this better. So it's really fun to work with other people. And I look forward to it.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I think we've kind of come to the end of this stream, but God, this has been a fun stream with you guys. Let's do it again. I'm thinking next week. Let's do another reenactor stream. It'd probably be cool to do stuff with the team.
Yes.
Now and when we release the trailer, and then we can do like a premiere party when we actually put out the trailer too.
Oh, that'd be a lot of fun.
That would be outstanding.
Definitely.
And if there's other content that your viewers want to see, or if you guys want to see us using some of the other weapons, and we can make some little short videos showing stuff that doesn't give away what we planned.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, Kyle, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, as long as we don't, we can do extra stunts, we can do other sword stuff, just to give you guys a taste of some of the fun we're having. And you said, and not spoil how it all ends. And I'm with you on that.
Because last thing before we say, a lot of the things we're using, we did have props that would not hurt people, but then we had a lot of the historical actual weapons that we trust each other using. And even though we are armored, there's still this level of trust that you don't want to hurt each other because they are capable of damaging.
Yeah, a single mistake and you get hit in the fingers and that's it. That sucks.
Yeah, but that's all. Sorry. Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you guys did a great job with the safety thing. I mean, I was blown away by that. The attention to detail in stunts and how that really made it come off safely was really cool. So, final donation here from Sam. Get armor, get a good civilian kit first. You got it, Sam.
That's great advice. That guy knows.
I like Sam. Sam's cool.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So let's close off just the same way we started, with just this awesome photo of you guys in your gear. Let me jump over here real quick again. This is the day of shoot in question. With our two guys, Spencer and Kyle, in action. Very cool. So, all right, guys. So thanks everybody so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and take us offline right now. We appreciate everybody in the chat. We'll talk to you guys next week.
See you soon.
Good. See y'all.